let's go ahead and talk about essential tools for content creators. I've got 30 tools here that I want to talk about that I've used to create and build and grow my blogs. And if you have any questions or if you want me to show you one of these tools, you can let me know in the chat and I will get to it at the end of the presentation. You can also ask questions and whatever then too. Okay, so let's talk about what the categories for these tools are. If you're on one of my email lists, then you've probably already seen a little bit about what these are. So I've got the first thing you need is your hosting and some kind of platform, whether that's video or blogging or whatever. I'm going to talk about blogging, so that's what I'll be showing you, two things that I really recommend. Email service providers. This is to contact you with your email list and send out broadcasts and automations and stuff. That's a really important part of building and keeping your audience engaged. So you don't want to skip out on that no matter what you're doing. I'll also show you some social media schedulers. These are great so you're not constantly having to post on your own manually. So those will, I'll show Pinterest and one other tool that's kind of for everything, and then an Instagram one. I'll also be talking about productivity tools. These are things that I use to organize my ideas and keep track of what I'm doing and when. Also, graphic design software. This is really important because visuals are key to getting people to notice your things, be it on social media or just on your blog. Stock assets and design resources are another thing that's also pretty important. I kind of get lost in discovering new stock assets or looking up design resources and stuff. So I'll show you a few of them that I use to find these things. And finally, video recording and editing software. Yay! I'm using one of these things right now to broadcast this presentation to you live. So I'll talk about what I use and for live presentations as well as recording. So let's first talk about hosting and blogging platforms. The first thing, I really use WordPress a lot. That's what I'm used to, but I've also tried out Squarespace and I really like it, and I can see how that's something that a lot of people probably need in their life, and honestly, I would use it too if I didn't have the need to customize things so much. But Squarespace is an awesome option, and if you're not a tech kind of person, I really suggest it if you want to just create your blog and get started. So with WordPress, you need your own hosting unless you're using the free version, but I'm not going to talk about the free version because there's all other kinds of restrictions and everything, and we're just not going to talk about it. I don't use it. I haven't ever used it, so I don't really know much on that front. But you need your own hosting. It does require regular maintenance to keep up with plugins and keeping the platform updated, though some hosts will automatically update WordPress for you, and that's always nice. But yeah, you have to keep your themes and plugins updated. Yeah, it's pretty much infinitely customizable. Now, most people aren't going to really be able to take advantage of that, but if you're a person who knows how to code things or design your own themes or whatever, that you've got, infinite possibilities. It's also supported by many services, and it has a lot of tutorials and plugins and themes and all those kinds of things out there for WordPress, because pretty much like 27%, I think, of the web is hosted on WordPress. So a lot of people are using it, thus creating a lot of resources around it. Now, Squarespace, also nice. You pretty much, I really like this solution for people who are just starting their first website, because you get your hosting, domain, and platform all in one. You don't need to worry about updating plugins, and it integrates with multiple services in a simple and easy to understand way. I know I mentioned that WordPress is really customizable, but that doesn't mean that Squarespace doesn't have a lot of customization options. It's pretty much theme based, so you pick a theme and then you customize that theme, and there's still like so much, like you can drag and drop sections and everything into different places, so it's still really customizable. You can do colors and whatever. It's just easier and more simplified in a way that most people can understand. All right, so once you have your platform picked out, and if you pick WordPress, you need to have your hosting for that. So these are the 3 hosts that I recommend. SiteGround is great for beginners. They have a 1-year pricing, or first year pricing model where it's 40% cheaper, I think, than the after your first year pricing. So it's like $9.99 a month, but you can get your first year for like $3 something a month. So that's really nice. They have shared, cloud, and WordPress plans, which that's really, cloud hosting is, it's going to make your website really fast. Shared hosting is kind of typical hosting that everyone kind of has, but it's not the best hosting out there, but it's the cheapest. And, having something built, especially for WordPress, is nice because, the hosting company is going to know what to do with your stuff if a problem happens, and it's a nice peace of mind to have there. So DreamHost, they also have the WordPress plans, but what makes them different is, they don't have the first year pricing, but they do include a free domain when you sign up with them. And they also have the shared and cloud plans, so that's pretty much the same. It is a kind of low to mid-range pricing, though. The WordPress plans are $16 a month, I think, where the normal ones are $10. So that's one thing to consider when you're signing up. But DreamHost was my first web host. I've been with them for over 11 years now, and I love them. Now, Cloudways is another option, but I really only recommend this if you have the tech know-how to understand what's going on, because it is cloud hosting, for one, but it's not really set up in the most beginner-friendly way. So you do need your own domain with it, and you need to know how to connect that to it. It doesn't come with an email address. You have to set that up yourself. So that's just the downside to it. But it is scalable depending on how much resources you need for your site. So on a shared hosting plan, if you all of a sudden get a spike of traffic and you need more resources to handle that traffic so your site's not running slow or it doesn't crash or something, then with cloud hosting you can just upgrade or downgrade as you need. So that's a really nice thing to have. You're also able to restart your own server, since it's basically a private server, so to speak, but it's not that easy to set up, as I mentioned before. But being able to restart my server has saved me so many times. So if you're okay with the technical know-how, or you know someone who can help you, or you can hire someone who can set that up for you, I ultimately suggest Cloudways, because you like if eventually on a shared hosting plan, if your blog just blows up, you're going to need to move to either a different host or get a bigger plan. But with Cloudways, all you have to do is click a slider over for the duration that you have that spike in traffic, and then pull it back down, and you'll only be charged for whatever you used. All right, so I mentioned before that you have to get your own domain name with Cloudways, but even if you're on a shared hosting plan, you may want to choose to do domain hosting separate. It just makes it easier to switch from one hosting company to another should you ever have to do that. So that's a really nice thing about it. My suggestion for getting a domain is name.com. You can get your first domain for 99 cents. And if you're signing up with SiteGround, you might want to go through name.com to get your domain for the first year, because it'll also be cheaper again. But that's 99 cents is only for the first year. I think standard domain pricing right now is around $13 or like $13.95 or something like that. Okay, so let's talk about email. I've got that there. Whatever. You'll deal. So let's talk about email providers. There are 3 that I recommend: MailerLite, ConvertKit, and ActiveCampaign. MailerLite is free. ConvertKit is great if you have no idea what you're doing. And ActiveCampaign is better for those who want more statistics and options when it comes to marketing to your audience. Now, MailerLite, free up to 1,000. After that, I think it's like $10 or $20 for the next 2 or so thousand. I can't remember exactly. But it's a pretty cheap alternative to MailChimp, which MailChimp has its own problems that I've never really been interested in signing up with them, because they have if somebody subscribes to more than one list with you on MailChimp, then they count as double the subscribers, so that adds up a lot and you end up paying for way more people than you actually reach. So with MailerLite, it's still list-based, but each subscriber only counts as one person on your list. It's not going to take up 2 slots. They're also supposed to be having tagging coming soon, which, if you know what tagging is, then you're like, yes! But basically, tagging is that's how you would be able to segment your list into, oh, this person is interested in attending my webinar, or this person would like to buy this thing, or this person already bought this thing. So you can divide your list up, and that way you're not sending sales emails to people who aren't interested in your products at all. You're also billed by who you email, which is kind of weird, and it means that though I have 580 some subscribers, since I've actually sent emails out to 600 people, then I'm kind of billed for 600 people, even though I don't have it. But it's free, so I'm not complaining right now. This is part of the reason why I'm using ActiveCampaign for blog and create stuff, but I'll get to that a little later. Another big plus for MailerLite is that automations are available for free, which, if you are familiar with MailChimp, you know that you have to be on the $10 monthly plan to use automations. So that's one thing to consider. It also integrates with some applications natively, and others through Zapier. So that basically means that you can connect MailerLite to like WordPress or Stripe, Trello if you wanted to, any kind of application like that. I think Zapier has over 750 available applications to link between each other through their service. So that's a lot of options opening up right there. You can also build plain or designed email templates, which I suggest building them kind of plain like, because that will increase the chances that it lands in your inbox instead of like the Gmail promotions tab or the spam folder. All right, so let's talk about ActiveCampaign. Yay! I've just started using this actually, and I'm in love with it. It's like so much more. It's everything that I've always wanted, but I can understand like if you just want a simple mailing list to email people about your blog post or something like that, the MailerLite is better. I'm actually still using MailerLite for Blogging Butterfly, and also Astrology, my hair brand in Second Life, is going to be using MailerLite too. So I still enjoy both programs, but since Blog & Create, I'm going to have marketing things and want to make sales with it, I decided to choose something that's more, it's been around longer and works better for sales. So it has the tagging and the lists, just like MailerLite, and the tagging MailerLite doesn't have yet, but anyway, it has tagging, so I've got, like, if you guys signed up for the webinar, I've got you listed as interested in attending this webinar. Yay! So I could send out the emails with the links and whatever to you. You can build plain or designed email templates, and they actually have a little cool feature that tells you how likely your email is to be placed into spam. So that's a nice thing when you're designing your templates and you want to say, oh, I want to make sure this doesn't end up in the wrong place. They also have an automation marketplace, which doesn't necessarily mean that everything is for sale, but it does, you can download pre-made automations from other people. So there's like several for creating a welcome sequence, and all you have to do is fill in a few blanks, and then bam, you can have your own welcome sequence all coded up in the automation thing for you. They also have lots of integrations, native integrations, along with Zapier, just like MailerLite. Of course, there's more integrations, native integrations, than MailerLite, since it's an old tool that's been around for a while, but still same deal. Zapier is like an awesome connecting app, so they've got that 750 plus that it can integrate with, even if it doesn't integrate natively. There is a slight learning curve though. I did, like MailerLite, I was pretty much able to jump right in and start using it. Same with ConvertKit. But ActiveCampaign, I kind of had to go through, like, watch a few videos to kind of get the gist of it, because there's just so much stuff. But I did, and in the end, fall in love with it. Now the last tool, ConvertKit, which I just mentioned, is, I used to use this for about 3 months or so when I first started blogging Butterfly, but then I decided that the $29 wasn't worth it for right now, since I wasn't really making any money off of the stuff at Blogging Butterfly yet. So I did end up canceling it. And it also, I wasn't getting that feeling from it that I get from ActiveCampaign now. But ConvertKit is still an awesome tool, and I really recommend it for people who know nothing about email broadcasting or marketing or sequences or anything like that, because it is very easy and straightforward to use. So if you have a blog or a service or a store or something and you want to get more serious about email, you can try ConvertKit, and it's made for bloggers by bloggers, so they really know exactly what you need, and it's great for actually getting your emails into people's boxes, because they don't allow you to have fancy email templates at all, which you can if you know how to code things in HTML and upload them like that, but they don't really encourage. They're not like, okay, here's an email builder that you can use, because they want you to send out the plain text emails that will land in people's inboxes. Also, their support is really awesome. I did have to contact them a few times about several different things, and they were able to help me in maybe like 15 minutes or so. So that was really nice to know. All right, it's time to talk about social media schedulers. Yay. Okay. So, I use pretty much these four, and Tailwind and Board Booster are mostly for Pinterest, though Tailwind has Instagram now, but SmarterQ and Planoly, well, Planoly's for Instagram, but SmarterQ is for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So it's a whole bunch of things. I pretty much got everything covered that I use. SmarterQ will have Pinterest and Google Plus coming soon, but they're still working on it. So let's talk about Tailwind. I like this because it has awesome analytics for your pins and your Pinterest account. It posts based on the best time to send out posts. So it like analyzes your audience and when they're on Pinterest and what they see and whatever else. I don't know the exact algorithm, but they are able to define when would be the best time to post, and it gives you time slots to post in, so that's nice. It also has board posting lists, which means you can decide, make a list of different boards you want to post to, and when you're scheduling a pin into Tailwind, all you have to do is select that list and it will schedule them all to it automatically. For Instagram, they have hashtag lists, which, if you have a whole bunch of hashtags that you use a lot, that's really useful, because then you can just paste it in and you don't have to keep typing them over and over again. And Tailwind Tribes for Pinterest, that's awesome. You basically can put your pins into a tribe, and other tribe members can pin that content onto their Pinterest boards. Board Booster, another Tailwind or another Pinterest scheduler, it's great for evergreen posting, which is when you have a blog post or some other content that you want to keep posting over and over again. Board Booster is your girl. So you can do that with pin looping, or you can create a campaign where it will take pins from one board and pin it to other boards. These could be group boards or your own boards or whatever. That's really cool. And it also does the normal scheduling, so it's kind of an all-in-one tool. The only thing is, like, the analytics are really limited. It only tracks items that are pinned by Board Booster, where Tailwind kind of tracks everything, but Board Booster only tracks what's pinned by them. And really that kind of allows them to do some different kind of analytics than what Tailwind does. They also have follower growth analytics, which is pretty cool, because you can basically see a big graph of all your followers over time. SmarterQ is my favorite tool. For like $20 a month, you can have evergreen posting for everything else. So you may know of a program called Edgar, which does the same thing, and they were kind of the leading tool for this, but SmarterQ came around and they slashed the price and really went crazy with this idea of evergreen posting. So they have like a calendar view you can import from RSS, which is what I was looking for so long, forever. So you could basically say, oh, I love this blog. They always post really great things related to my topic. So you could get their RSS URL, or just their URL. You can insert it into their RSS importer and it will look that up for you, and you can choose which post on that blog you want to send out to your Twitter audience, or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever else. They also have like a search inside SmarterQ where you can find content from people. So you can search Twitter hashtags or users or just random whatever and find new content like that. Now, Planoly is an Instagram scheduler. I love it because, for one, their branding is awesome. Two, they have a calendar view which shows you the post you made and what day, what time, and how many likes and comments all in one thing. And then they also have the feed view off to the side that shows you your Instagram feed, so you can see and plan what your posts are going to look like on Instagram. They also have they have my favorite hashtag suggestion system. So basically on Instagram, when you're picking your hashtags, you don't want to pick a super popular hashtag that has millions and millions of posts in it. More around 500K is a pretty good place to put your stuff. So what Planoly does is, instead of you typing in a hashtag and it kind of auto fills what's a hashtag for the end, Instagram natively shows like the most popular hashtags, but Planoly shows the ones that are around that 500,000 mark or less. So it kind of gives you suggestions what would be a better tag for you to use so your post can get into that prime top post spot. It also has analytics for your posts, so you can see, oh, I got this many comments this month and whatever else. And so that's really nice. If you're on the free plan, it only shows for a month, but one of the paid plans, which I think they start at $7, you can get like 3 months or something, up to a year. Productivity tools. Here we go. All right. These 4 are tools that I use all the time, and one that I just recently discovered that's amazing, that I've been wanting all my life. So let's talk about Workflowy first. This is an outline and list creation program, which if I click on it right, maybe you can probably see over here, I've got the outline for this presentation there. So I use it for brainstorming and quick note taking. So if I'm on somebody else's webinar and I want to take some notes, I'll whip out the Workflowy and make notes there. And I'm also constantly in it all the time on my phone, jotting down ideas that I have and sorting, like trying to organize, okay, this is what I want on my website, or this is what I want in this course, or I want to teach about this or whatever, Evernote, this is kind of like it's a note-taking software, but you can go through on the web and like save things into it and everything. That's pretty cool. So when I'm looking for photo ideas or something, I'll kind of clip them into my Evernote so I can access them on my tablet or my phone or whatever else. Now with I don't really use this as much as I used to, at least not for collecting inspiration ideas, but I will still use it for post writing and some note taking. And you can also write things up in it and then create a shareable link. So if I have something really long to say on social media, which if you know me, I always do this thing where I talk too much. But if I have a really long post and I want to share it to Facebook or somebody on Twitter or something, I'll write it up in Evernote and then give them the link. Trello is amazing. I can open it up a little bit here. Oh, you can't really see. Hold on. But I use it for big projects, and I know I'm kind of, it's cut off, but whatever. I use it for big projects, which you can see. Here's my live schedule for blogging Create Live, which it's just a tentative schedule, but it's, things I want to talk about, when I want to talk about them. It has a little calendar here that I can put cards on and everything. So that it's visual task scheduling and project management, pretty much. So it also integrates with other services. I think it does have Zapier. It does. And if this, then that. I'll use that. I connect it with I'll make a voice note and then save it as a Trello card. So that's one other way that I use to map out my ideas. Process Straight is amazing. At least I think it is. I haven't actually used it yet, but I did kind of use it. I went through the tutorial. I went to a webinar, and it's basically repeatable workflows that you can set up. So if you have a checklist of things, which as you can see in my Trello, sometimes I have a checklist of things to do, and sometimes those checklists, I need to do them every time I do a project, which like for my hair that I create, I have a set list of things that I need to do to create each hairstyle. So every time I make a hairstyle, I need to go through this list. So I make at least 3 hairstyles a month. So, right now I'm just getting around to finishing 6 or something. So that list of, okay, this is what I need to do for each one of these things, that comes in handy. So they have templates to choose from. So they actually have one for blog and podcast promotion or whatever. So that's really nice. And it also integrates with Zapier to collect data and fill out, you can make little forms. So if somebody joins your email list or your sales funnel, you could have some kind of process there that lists their name, email address, or when they signed up, or whatever other data you need. So that's really cool. I haven't really figured it all out yet, but when I do, I will definitely be making a video about it. Let's go on to graphic design software. I use the Adobe suite. So that means I'm on Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. Now, I really like Photoshop as kind of an all-in-one tool, which if you can only afford one thing, get Photoshop. It's $10 a month with the photography plan. You get Lightroom also, so you can edit photos. But Photoshop is not the best for everything, but if you need to do everything and you're on a budget, that's what you should get. But there's also Illustrator, which as a single app is $20 a month, and InDesign, which is also $20 as a single app. Or you can get all 3 and everything in all the Adobe Graphic Creative Cloud Suite things for I think it's $49 a month. So that's kind of a steal, really. I recently re-upgraded back to that, and I'm so glad because now I get to do all these things that I'm going to tell you about. So for Photoshop, I use it to create textures and ads for my 3D products, which not related to Blog and Create or Blogging Butterfly, but it's something that I do, and that is best in Photoshop. Also, editing photos, Photoshop, notorious for being able to edit photos. I've also used it to create social media templates, which, while not the best use, it's still doable. And actually, if you go and try to buy a template or something, a lot of times it'll be in Photoshop format because it's just the most accessible product out there to create things, so that's what they're available in. I also used it to create my first workbook, which really I ended up kind of redoing it in InDesign, but you know, it was possible. I did it. It happened. In a pinch, it can work. Illustrator. So glad I have this now. It's great for creating logos. I created my blog and create logo in it. I'm creating logos for other things in it. I'm going to redo the logo that I had done in Photoshop for another project in it. So that's like, you definitely do not want to Photoshop a logo. Don't do it. So also social media templates. I love Illustrator for this now. I love it. I thought I would love InDesign for it, and I still might, but yeah, I'm really loving those Illustrator and InDesign really for creating social media templates, which I will show you all about with more blog and create posts once I actually get the site launched. I've also done diagrams in it. My Pinterest workbook where I show different types of pen graphics, I did diagrams in Illustrator for that, which I actually made the cool printable or just PDF in InDesign. So this is a great software for creating things that will be printed. Illustrator and Photoshop can do this, but InDesign is the best if you need to do a page layout. You can also use it to make interactive PDFs, which means if you have a checkbox, you could click the check option to actually check it, or you can type into some of the text fields there. So it's great for workbooks, checklists, ebooks, planner pages, and calendars. Now, if you absolutely cannot handle the $10 a month, or Photoshop is too much for you and you just can't figure it out, for now, until Blog and Create comes along to help you understand how to use Photoshop, you can go ahead and check out Canva at canva.com. It's a graphic design web-based program. They have an app also for iPhone. It's pretty easy to figure out what to do. It's great for beginners and people who know absolutely nothing about design. I love that because it passively promotes good design choices by being a tool with templates where you just edit the text and add your photo and that kind of thing. They have free and paid versions. The paid version of Canva is like $2 more than just getting Photoshop, but it does have some different tools like a brand. I think you can like create your color palette, upload your own fonts. They have premium only photos, so that's the benefit there. And you can also license your images for commercial use, which means if you have a client and you want to create something for them using Canva, it's like $1 or something to use stuff created in Canva like that. I'm not 100% sure how it works since, I just create my own in like Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever. But when you're using somebody else's tool to design something like that, you have to make sure the licensing is all intact. And Canva is one of those that actually allows you to license out the graphics that you create. Okay, let's talk about stock design assets. This is stock photos and design resources. I love these. I literally have browser tab after browser tab full of, I need to make this. I'm gonna find this font to do it, and then I just fall down the rabbit hole and look at like 20 fonts at once. All right, so stock photos. I go to Pixabay, Raw Pixel, Pexels, and Pick Jumbo. These are my favorite places. I really love Raw Pixel. And Pixabay is like an instant, I'm on there all the time. But it's gotten to the point where everybody and their mom has a Pixabay. Like, you can tell things have been made with Pixabay. So that's the only thing. But then I look at the same types of sites all the time, so maybe it's just me who can notice. But yeah. So that's those are the places. I will give you links when I send out the document with all the links to all these websites. For design resources, I love Creative Market and the Envato Marketplace. They're both great resources. I'm an Envato Elements member, which is a subscription service where you can basically get access to a library of pretty much, well, not everything on Envato, but like creators can opt in to have their designs set up on there. So it's a huge, tons and tons of assets with like thousands added each week. So that's really nice. All right, it's time for video recording software. Yes. For live streaming, what I'm doing right now, OBS and Lightstream. I'm actually using OBS right now. Lightstream is a browser-based, it's sort of like OBS, but it's only for streaming. OBS you can record in as well, which let's talk about that. Streaming and recording, yay, works with almost any streaming platform. So you can go on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, all these other different streaming sites. Beam, though I forget what I think Restream is still Restream. There's another one called Mix or Mixer or something like that. So whatever. You've probably never heard of them, but OBS, you can use them. Lightstream, like OBS, but in your browser. It is new, so it is kind of buggy. I would try it right now, but last time I used it, it wasn't really showing my screen correctly. So I need to try that again some other time when I have time to test it. And this one only really works with major streaming services. So YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Beam, I think you can use it on. They're working on doing more things, like having multi-streaming, so you could stream to, say, Facebook and YouTube at the same time, which I would love that because that's what I want to do. But for now, they don't have that yet. The nice thing about Lightstream is that it handles most of the processing and encoding and whatever on the cloud. So it's not as much work on your computer. So some people have found where they couldn't use OBS or XSplit or something to stream. Lightstream worked better for them because it wasn't so hard on their computer. So that's an option if your computer is really slow and laggy when you try to stream. But if you're recording, OBS is my favorite. And it's free. Both of these are free. Video editing. All right. After Effects and Premiere Pro are my tools of choice. I will be 1000% honest with you. I just learned a bit about After Effects and I'm working on Premiere Pro. I'll be editing my videos in Premiere and doing different kind of effects and whatever in After Effects. These are both a part of the Adobe Suite. So for that, I got the full package and got these programs along with my Illustrator and InDesign and such. So After Effects is good for animated graphics and video effects. Creating video bumper graphics, that's like if you see somebody's logo at the beginning of a video and it does a cool animation, that's what that is. And also lower thirds graphics, so you know, the little bar that's like at the bottom and like telling you, hey, This is Stephanie speaking right now, which I was supposed to have something like that set up with my OBS, but I forgot to get around to it because I'm so busy right now, but whatever. Now, Premiere Pro, this is for video editing and composition. So when you need to like cut something out of your video, or you want to put two videos together or whatever, that's what you would use this for. You can add music. I mentioned the slicing video, time manipulation. That's something I really want to do for my tutorial videos. And of course, exporting to video formats. Now, you can also, remember how I said Photoshop is kind of an all-in-one tool. You can also edit video in Photoshop, which I know a couple people who are doing this. I haven't actually done it myself yet, but I want to check it out. And I also want to present it to you as an option, so you don't feel like you can't do video if you can't afford to splurge on the whole Creative Cloud. Just for that $10, you can get so much stuff. So you can edit video in Photoshop. It's not as advanced as Premiere, but you can. It's awesome if you want to cut things and move them around or whatever, you know. Simple editing, you can do it in Photoshop. Now, it does take a bit longer to export your videos because Photoshop is not natively a video program, but it's an option for you if you need that. All right, I totally forgot to make a slide that's like, hey, it's question time. Let's make one right now. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, now is the time. Questions. Yay. I'm honestly not sure if anyone's even. Let's check. I hope people are watching. If you're just watching the replay and you have a question, you can feel free to email me at stephanie@bloggingcreate.com. That is, you can reach me there anytime. So, if there are any questions, I don't think so. Nice. Well, Blog and Create, I will definitely be creating videos to go through more options and such with these programs, just to show you guys how to use them and what you can do with them and why they're awesome for bloggers and content creators. What else? Blog and Create is basically, it's going to be design and tech tutorials. So this is the technology that I'm going to be focusing on really, because these are the tools I use, these 30 items. So expect to see a lot about these different things. Maybe not so much about ConvertKit, but I do want to actually eventually subscribe to them again so I can learn more about it and give tutorials on how to do things in ConvertKit. So if there is anything that you see, if you're watching the replay or something and you have a question or you would like to see a live demo of it, just let me know. I will put it on the priority list when I'm creating videos. So that will be all for now. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I hope you found a tool that can be useful for you. Thank you so much. I will see you in maybe a week or in 2 weeks when I will be doing another live presentation. Maybe I should wait the 2 weeks so I can get things sorted out. I'm also going to be sending out a list of links to all these places. If you find you want the slides that I made, you can let me know and I can send those out as well. Go to blogandcreate.com if you haven't already, and you can actually go ahead, put in your email there under the register link, and I will be sending out that list tomorrow. So if you sign up right now, you can get it ASAP. Thank you so much. I will see you next time.